All right. And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to talk about all things about professional wrestling, all the action inside and out, backstage juicy rumors. Also, we talk about superstar, contract negotiations, injury updates. Also, maybe if they're trying to jump ship to a different brand, we talk about it here on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, either if it's from AEW to WWE, Ring of Honor, TNA, MLW, NWA, Stardom, GCW. If it makes wrestling headline news, we talk about it here on the podcast. So, yeah, make sure you tune in every Monday through Friday on the GSMC Sports Network. All right, so we are segment 5, our fifth and final segment. We're going to talk about my Wednesdays wrestling, weekly wrestling news. All right, so let's dig on into it. This was one of my favorite news I found out. This whole entire time I've been doing, a lot of segments in terms of, the Hurt Business coming to AEW, maybe Ring of Honor, maybe hell, right? Not even TNA. But it's been rumored that Bobby Lashley is ditching professional wrestling for professional boxing. That's crazy. But I feel like 1,010%. I feel like he can do it. I feel like Bobby Lashley can do it 1,010%. There's no doubting Bobby's athletic abilities. He recently joined Misfits Boxing, a promotion started by English YouTuber star KSI. Lashley's obviously has some he's had some interesting experiences within the UFC kind of spectrum, like MMA and stuff like that. Is it possible that we don't even see Bobby Lashley in professional wrestling industry? Perhaps it could be kind of a toss up. A lot of wrestling stars that jump ship to MMA, like UFC, like CM Punk, like Dave Batista, also Brock Lesnar. Although Brock Lesnar did, he won a championship, so he did, fairly well. But with this, kind of this promotion with KSI, with Logan Paul connected to Jake Paul, obviously you have some strings to pull. 1,010%, and Bobby Lashley looks like he can just absolutely destroy him like an MF, man. It's crazy. This guy can lay hands. This guy can do damage. This guy can send people to the hospital, man. It's crazy. In Bellator, Bobby Lashley's career record was 15-2, and it's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy, 1,010%. He had this social media post where he was super excited, and he said, and I quote, "The excitement of the future possibilities basically fuels my drive. Each decision opens up new doors, and if I can't wait to see, and I can't wait to see where they basically land." And it was hashtag boxing, hashtag training, hashtag workout. This guy's going to be a boxing star. And it's crazy. Like, you usually, like, just think about it. Just think about if you are an athlete, and essentially nowadays in the digital era, you have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter/X, whatever you like to call it. You can essentially kind of be your own public relations, kind of representative a little bit. So then you post a video of yourself training, and then you're like, hey, honestly, I'm going to do this. If you want to challenge me, basically come get me. Like, look at a match we have right now in boxing. We have Jake Paul taking on Mike Tyson, and it's like, yeah, publicity stunt, maybe. But is it a possibility that a lot of people could make, jump ship, kind of be inspired by what Jake Paul did? Started off as a YouTuber, trained really hard to become a professional boxer. And, I definitely think maybe Bobby Lashley could kind of follow in the footsteps in terms of, Jake Paul. So 1,010%, I believe whatever Bobby does, I would like to see him land in AEW with the Hurt Business, but he's done. He's completely done with WWE. And, it's kind of sad, it's kind of crazy, but, you kind of recently saw someone trademark the Hurt Syndicate. I think it might have been MVP, but, if he wants to go out and he wants to do boxing, dude, why not? Screw it. Like, whatever makes you happy. You know what I mean? So Bobby Lashley can do it. Bobby Lashley, 1,010% could be a professional boxer. But yeah, All right, next we have Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, he's been training nonstop ever since he was cleared to train after his operation. Kenny Omega, there's no set time, set in time in terms of his estimated time of arrival. But Kenny Omega is returning. He's returning to All Elite Wrestling, and he's going to come back bigger and better and stronger than ever. And I feel like when he comes back, it's going to be like a dawning of a new era. I feel like he's not going to come back for like another 6 months. I honestly don't see him coming back sooner than that. Just kind of watch his own ass a little bit. Like, you don't know exactly what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to get injured to the point where you can't renegotiate your contract, and then you kind of get left on face first in terms of kind of financial hardships and stuff like that. Fortunately, this world is about making money. It sucks, like the Beatles said, you can't buy me love, but you can buy a house, you can buy a nice car, you can pay for your kids' college funds. So this whole "can't buy me love" crap, you lied to me. Damn you, John Lennon and Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and George Harrison. I'm just kidding. Can't hate those guys. Huge Beatles fan. So no, I just think it's kind of crazy. But Kenny Omega is on his way back to AEW. Can't wait to see him come back. It's going to be awesome. Next, we have the birthday girl. The birthday girl about 2 days ago, Saraya, formerly known as Paige in WWE, is trying to structure her new contract. Her contract is up in AEW in September. Can she make it back to WWE? I feel like she can. I feel like it's perfect. I feel like in terms of like on SmackDown, you have Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, seeming like they're just content with being tag team competitors. Yeah, dude, that's cool. All right, so now we need some main eventers in terms of the women's division. Someone to take on Nia Jax. How much of an underdog would Saraya be if she made it back to compete against Nia Jax, or on the Raw women's division, where the biggest person you have is Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley? That's basically it. Lyra Valkyria, it's kind of she's still training a little bit. Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark are now in a tag team. Sonya Deville wants to pretend like she's all that in a bag of chips, although she's not. So, Saraya coming back to the WWE, I think it'd be huge. I think it'd be great. It'd be great television for wrestling fans. It's going to be interesting to see if Paul Levesque pulls the trigger here. 1,010%. Next, we have Tony Khan. Tony Khan, Fightful Select notes that the new deal between AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery is, ongoing and things are looking good. And I quote, a substantial offer has been made to AEW programming, and I think it's about time. I think it's about time. I wish it would have came a little sooner, to be honest, so I don't have to pay for AEW All In because I have HBO Max. I'm just kidding. No, but no. I think this is great. I think this is great for Tony Khan. The wrestling promotion AEW isn't as bad as what people think. Just because you see on Ringside News, and I'm not trying to crap on Ringside News. I love Ringside News, Inside the Road, Cage Side Seats. I love all those. I love all those. I read a lot of wrestling storylines from that, stuff like that. Wrestling, like WrestleMania on YouTube.com. I watch a lot of those things, but a lot of them kind of like to fixate on the fact that, oh, AEW's viewerships is, kind of going down again. Like where technically does those viewerships kind of come from? Like, you know what I mean? Like nowadays during this digital era, you can stream a lot of what you're seeing. Like you have YouTube.com, you also have Tubi, you have a lot of stuff, a lot of ways you can watch AEW. And having them finally land a contract to kind of broadcast their pay-per-views on HBO Max, I feel like it's great. I feel like overall it's amazing. I feel like you can't, whenever you see those headlines where, oh, AEW, this and then the other, Collision's down again, Rampage is down again, what is Tony Khan gonna do? Like, dude, nowadays, like, who cares? Like, if they get over like 200,000, 300,000, like TNA, Ring of Honor, and like New Japan Professional, dude, they're getting like 30,000 to like on a good day like 70,000. Like it's not like it was back in the day. It's not like it was back in the day, 1,010%. So, it's kind of time. It's time to mature a little bit. You can't compare AEW to WWE anymore. And if you do, you're a scumbag. I'm just kidding. No, but not trying to protect AEW, not trying to throw shade at WWE or people who like to expunge in terms of writing articles about increases going down. AEW is a failed experiment. AEW would never be WCW. Like you know what I mean? Like it's time to put it to rest. Time to put it to rest. All right, next we have Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose announces her next wrestling appearance will be an independent wrestling promotion, Black Label Pros crowning a glory event September 4th. I want to see I want to see Mandy Rose come back. I feel like randomly if you see Mandy Rose come back, it would be awesome. The way she was kind of let go because the whole don't want to get too much into it. But basically she was basically showing graphic photos on her, getting people to go on OnlyFans and stuff like that. And it's too much to my chagrin. She's guess a side hustle. I guess I don't know how to explain it. Like I get why you would fire somebody like that. WWE is a wholesome, they're PG, not PG-13 just yet. But then you got to worry about stuff like that. Like a lot of times like I read an article where they were comparing it to like if a high school teacher or I think they said no, not college. Like if a high school, basically if a teacher, if you had a teacher basically had an OnlyFans and the administration inside like the higher ups in terms of the educational system in that district find out that you had like an OnlyFans, you would get canned just like that, like bam, like you know what I mean. So now that you kind of have you know kind of post like you but it's not, I don't know. You can't really compare apples to oranges here. So, Mandy Rose, I would love to see her back in NXT. She obviously lost her NXT title to Roxanne Perez, but I think she'd be great. I think she'd be great for a comeback. It would completely shock everybody and be pretty badass. All right, next, John Cena addresses the potential of him having a 17th time title reign. He said, and I quote, he's been a part-timer for so long. He hasn't won a match since 2018. Kind of downplaying it a little bit. And, I'm not really mad at John. I'm not, I know he's a realist. I do feel like WWE, sort of kind of owes this guy another title reign to kind of be the best of all time. Because right now you have Triple H, who's amazing. You have Ric Flair, who was most predominantly in the NWA. And I'm not trying to throw shade at the NWA, but as opposed to like, nowadays wrestling, like not a lot of people know the NWA. So I'm not saying that the name doesn't really mean, doesn't really mean that much. But, the best ever to lace up his boots to represent a wrestling promotion is John Cena. John Cena, no allegations, no negative publicity. He kept it clean 1,010%, even during his divorce. And I don't know, that kind of thing, you got to respect that. You got to respect that. Like this guy, he cares about the business, he cares about the kids. He's still the leader of, Make a Wish Foundation. People love John Cena. I love John Cena. I think he's great. He's a Hollywood star. He's a wholesome human being. He's an amazing wrestler. Just an overall incredible human being. So, John Cena, definitely, still kicking ass. Obviously, his retirement tour is upon us at the beginning of January. So, yeah. And lastly, I have a question for all you guys, something that I read online that do you guys think that The Undertaker losing his streak at WrestleMania was a mistake? Do you think, let me repeat that. Do you think The Undertaker losing his streak at WrestleMania was a mistake by WWE? And my answer is yes. My take is yeah. Like The Undertaker, like no matter how big he was in WWF, uh, you know, coming on to be WWE, he never really had those title accolades in terms of that. Has he ever held the Intercontinental Championship? I don't even know. The United States, I don't think so. World champion a couple of times. Basically, the only thing the Undertaker really kind of had was a streak, and it was pretty badass. And WWE messed with it. Well, Vince McMahon messed with it. And I think 1,010% that they should have let the Undertaker kind of keep the streak there. Obviously, let me know in the comment section how you guys feel about that. I feel like the Undertaker, you know, uh, he's badass, and I'm not, trying to based success in the WWE or the professional wrestling spectrum based on championships, because there's been a lot of wrestling stars who's made a dent in professional wrestling without winning so many championships, like the Ultimate Warrior. Obviously, like you had the Ravishing Rick Rude, and they weren't that crazy, like you know what I mean. But I don't know. Just go ahead and let me know your opinions on that. All right, guys. Hey, that's my show for today. Hope you guys liked it. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Remember the Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the GSMC Sports Network. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. Also, follow us on TikTok, Twitter/X, Instagram, Facebook for more content and updates. And like I always say, if I haven't made you a wrestling fan by now, we got my man Nelson with the GSMC basketball show. We also have my boy Chris Shepard on Fantasy Sports. Make sure you check that out. We have my boy Tommy with College Sports. College football starts on Saturday. I think it starts on Saturday. There's no like Thursday or Friday night football, right? I'm not a huge college guy. I gotta be honest. I'm not a huge college guy. Uh, we have a couple of NFL podcasts that you guys want to listen to, find out about the hottest takes in terms of what your teams, have to offer in terms of them. We got Kenneth with the GSMC football podcast. We have my boy Manny with the Chip Shot football podcast. We also have Emran with soccer coming up in 16 minutes. Make sure you catch that. We got TJ with sports. We got we got sports by GSMC with Jeremy. So yeah, make sure you be a part of our, wrestling, not wrestling landscape, our sports landscape. We got the Andrew Tate podcast, your perfect mix of sports and entertainment. So make sure you tune in to that. So oh yeah, I think that's it. That's it for me today. Obviously, it's a beautiful Wednesday. Hope you guys enjoy your hump day. Hope you guys, get a good night's rest. For those who haven't eaten dinner yet, make sure you eat some dinner. I'm just kidding. No. You guys are beautiful, but most importantly, love you.